I'm doing this
Sure.
for Susan's benefit. Susan, I'll send you the link later, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'd like to call this meeting to order. When I looked at the agenda, I can't believe it's December 15th. I don't know where this year is gone, but we're close to the end. So let me lead us in an invocation. You bow your heads. Dear Father in heaven, as we meet here today in this Christmas season, please help us remember the lonely, the people in need. Help us be good stewards in our decision making. I ask you to bless each and every member of the board and their families. And we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to serve you. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, let's start the meeting. Susan, thanks for sending the minutes.
Sure. Thank you.
And you want to take a moment, everyone, to take a look at your packet? Did you get to look over your minutes?
How many people do you need, Heidi, for a quorum?
You only need 6. You're set.
6.
Okay, good.
Anybody?
We've actually got the whole board, do we not?
I won't.
Hey, Walt,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the November 17th meeting.
Okay. We have a motion by Woody. Is there a second?
Walt seconds.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we're going to move on to Richard Harris to go over the financial statements.
okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Mhm.
And we'll see if I can move this up. Everybody see that well?
That's it, good.
Okay, for the 5 months ended November 30th, we had income of almost $31,000. And we finished the period with a $63,388 cash position. Compared to last year, our income is up $9,639. We increased the scholarships and awards that paid out for the first 5 months by $1,124 from a year ago. We funded literacy programs for $10,495, and the other outlays were about $1,211. So a total outlays expenses for the 5 months were $20,330. For financial health, as I've already said, cash on hand is $63,388. That compares to $67,000 a year ago, but then we've paid out $10,000 more than we had at this time a year ago. Our investments are up by $29,647. So our equity is up by almost the same amount. And our cash on hand is almost equally balanced with $31,752 in South State and $31,635 in the Schwab accounts. And at the end of the month, we anticipated a $10,000 grant in literacy from the Stein Foundation and an additional $1,000 member contribution. Poker and golf tournaments netted $20,225, and almost that entire amount now has been transferred, not the first 5 months, but in December to the foundation. So we've got approximately $20,000 that came in from the various fundraising activities. So now let me stop sharing this account and go to the second account that I would like to show. Okay, where is it? There it is. And we'll move that so I can get to share screen. Budget share. Okay, can you see the budget now?
Yes, yes, it could.
Okay. This is an update of the budget that I showed you several times before, but I've added the column here of actual where we are with income, and then I've also added this column showing what we're paying out. The total amount 72,500 is unchanged, but the funds that we've raised through golf and poker we're almost right on with what my projected need was. So we're like $175 short there. And so our total funds needed to balance is less than $1,200. So at halfway point, we're in a strong position. The uses of funds, and this now is current. We did the check last week for $10,000 to Valencia College. We'll have to rewrite that, make it to Valencia College Foundation, because they're the ones that actually spend that money, but we'll do that this Thursday. The programs on literacy, we're about halfway to what we budgeted. Other awards and the grants, and I have this in yellow because during the month of November, we received $5,000 directed deposit funds, a gift for the Boy Scout troops that we sponsor, and that $5,000 has already been transferred on to the Boy Scouts. As I've said before, we have a moral obligation, if not a legal one, to spend the funds for the purpose which people designate when they give us the money. And that's why that just went ahead and went on to the Boy Scouts. On food security, we're not as far as we should be, but this amount up here, this $12,000 from the Harry P. Lou Foundation, didn't specify to us how to split this. So the 12,000, even though it is added here in literacy, some of that can actually come into food security. So those are decisions the board needs to make as to how to expend that money. And it brings me then to another item that's later on the agenda of this line here. We have a fair amount of discussion to do about our scholarships for Valencia, how we actually use this money and how many but that's for another item. So Heidi, that constitutes the treasurer's report.
Thank you. That was great, actually. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Dick, on the report, the year-to-date shows that we've spent, or that we have income of $30,976. So we budgeted $72,500 for the year. Just want to make sure I'm looking at these numbers correctly. So that we've got about what do we got? About 42,000 left yet to collect to meet our budget. Is that right?
No, we had carryover funds, George. If you look at line 2, this 11,000 was carried over and this 8,000 was carried over. So that's 17,000. And the 17,000 comes from, so we've got 34,000 of that already covered, plus the 10,000 that I spoke, that's coming from the Stein Foundation. So that's 44,000. So we're already there.
So, okay, so year to date, we would have the, we've covered the budget amount. Yeah.
Yes, right. Yep, the budget is spending not all income because of those carry forwards and the fact that we take 17,000 of investment income and apply it.
Okay,
And it comes in over the full 12 months.
yeah.
Okay, there is one other item that it slipped my mind momentarily. I would like approval to spend $300 to purchase 4-way test materials for Lake Eola Charter School. We're already funding their food pantry program, and the amount of $300 would allow us to buy $300 worth of posters and those kinds of materials to help make that school a 4-way test school.
Anybody
Any
have any questions about that? Okay,
No questions, and I think if you would include that with the treasurer's report, that request, then would need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
And
Thank you,
I'll
George.
second.
okay, we have a second. Any further discussion on the treasurer's report and the additional 300? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. It carries. Great. Thanks for bringing that up. I had it later on my agenda, so thank you. We got it done all at the same time. Okay, so now let's move on to the president's report. Do you want to go first, Rich? I know you're out of town. I want to get you while we can. You're muted.
Sorry. I guess I would ask Dick to do that. The primary thing for the club is kind of just wrapping up the first 6 months and going from there. So if Dick, you have something you want to add in my absence, I'd appreciate you doing that. If not,
the club has 3 major events scheduled coming up. We have a February 5th food program, data or food and money collection at Publix again, like we did on October 30th. And this time we're trying to get 3 Publix and get the Boy Scouts, the Troop 24, Pack 24, to actually help us staff those so that it's a combined service project. And then on March 5th, we will have a larger scale food drive where we'll be packing food at Second Harvest. Both of those are Saturdays, and I'm opening up the food packing because there's room for up to 40 people to other clubs. So it'll be a multi-club event. And overall, the club is financially healthy, and the membership is growing. So I think overall, we're having a good year this first half of Rich and Heidi's term.
Great. anything to add?
No, that's all I had. The primary issue, again, is we're trying to keep the foundation front and center to our club. So the club knows every Thursday kind of what's going on. We try to every week give them a little update of what's going on so that it's not a mystery to them what the local foundation is doing. We've been very successful with our fundraisers, and we're trying to figure out how we can continue to proceed with that. We're trying to get the committees active. We got one right now that we're trying to get started right now, which is a swan boat race. Other than that, everything else moving along. We had a really good Ringing the Bell. We had really good book fair at Ivy Lane. Angel Tree was very successful. So we're trying to get our new members involved, and we're up to 124 members now in our club. This will be our 5th consecutive year of positive growth in our membership. So we're doing a good job. We're going in the right direction.
And the $4,700 we raised for Salvation Army, that provides almost 14,000 meals, and they feed 1,000 people a day. That's just the downtown Salvation Army. So to wrap that all together, when you look at how vibrant our club is this year, the activities we have going, the things we support, the amount of budget, the fact that our foundation and our club are working hand in glove and both carrying the load. This is the most vibrant I've seen our club since I've been here, up to a couple of years after we had 250 people. So we're back to the level of vibrancy with half the people that we were through 2006 or 7 with 250. That's super.
I agree.
I wonder what is that attributed to? I think not the pandemic, or maybe so. Who knows?
I think it's a couple of things, George. First of all, the officers from both organizations are pulling in the same direction, have the same expansive viewpoint that let's do everything we can, and the enthusiasm is contagious.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
I just wanted to say that 3 years ago, we decided that we were going to try a different tactic in our club because we were going down in membership. And then I guess maybe it was 4 years ago, and we decided that we needed to start growing. And so when Bill was president, he brought a lot of systems and a lot of organization to what we were doing. And then when Dick became president, we added that, what Bill was doing, and then we carried that on. Now, Bill went through the beginning of the pandemic, which nobody saw coming, and we had to learn how to maneuver around that. And so our original focus was, how do we make Zoom calls interesting? And we tried to do that, and we were successful. When Dick came in, we still had the pandemic, and then we lost cirrhosis. And then we tried to meet again, and we did it for 3 weeks, and then somebody got COVID and we had to shut it down again and go back on. So it's constantly going back and forth, but what we've really tried to do, and we had, if you remember, we had a trivia contest one time in our club to try to make it interesting. And in the trivia, we asked some questions about our procedures at a meeting. And we saw that we had 17 members that had no idea what we did on greeting or anything like that, because they'd never been to a meeting, because they joined us while we were on Zoom. And so we went through lots of that, but what we really did 4 years ago is we decided to separate the red badges from the blue badges. We decided to take the new people, create a committee, and we did this when Bill was president, created a red badge committee so we could start questioning and getting from them, what are we doing right? What do we need to do differently, and so on, and nurture those red badges into what we were going to do. And quite frankly, we had quite a few blue badges who became mentors to some of these red badges. And they were people, the blue badges were people that just, they weren't really involved. And all of a sudden they got involved. And so the red badges really had a contagious impact on our club. And I would say if there's anything we did, it was 4 years ago, it was really pushing the red badge program to the level where it is today, where it's very active. And that's why we're growing, is because we're getting really good people and we're trying to keep them involved, and we're getting them involved early. But more importantly, we've taken our meetings and we've elevated our meetings to try to have fun, so that when guests come in, they do that. Now, we learned under I guess it was Don Lickenback's year as president, we learned that if you bring in guests, you'll build membership. And so we tried to focus on guests, and that has really been going to be true with Bill's term and with Dick's term. The last thing I would tell you is our club has a strategic plan, and we've set that plan, and that's our roadmap. So it is easy when you become president to be able to take that and say, there's our direction we got to do. We just simply got to continue to execute the strategic plan, which is what we're doing. We now have staff meetings every Monday. It's the current president, the immediate past president, and the foundation president, along with the club secretary and Bill and the staff. And we plan everything we're going to do. And so that continuity has given us a pretty good continuity, as opposed to, just imagine a company where you know you're going to change the CEO every year. How difficult would it be to run a company like that? So we decided 4 years ago, we got to stop that. And so we've done that. And I would say, George, there's a long answer to your question, but those are all the things that I believe make a difference.
Well, certainly the leadership in the last several years is to be commended for the effort and the results that have been obtained.
It's only been about 2 years I've dyed my hair gray, so I used to have extra hair.
Yeah.
Well, well done, everybody.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Back to you, Heidi.
Okay. Well, my report is, I just wanted to say how excited members were, if you were at the last meeting last Thursday, to hear about the Accelerated Skills Training Program, and to have them come up to me and say, wow, this is really neat, and the foundation's doing this, our club's doing this. It was a really feel good meeting. And Scott Maxwell was there. Hopefully we'll be getting some positive press. I'm keeping him informed as to how many students we're going to be touching through the process, and I'm going to keep him updated and invite him back when we have students come to present. So I talked to Angela, she's kind of our point person at length, about this from the Valencia Foundation, and they're just thrilled. So I am just so pleased. Nothing got the word out better about our club and foundation than, the speaker. People were just really pumped about it. So I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it was pretty neat.
Yeah.
And then to have her say, her husband was a drug addict and Salvation Army saved his life. And I mean, that could be a program. That was just really neat. So on to, that's my brief report right there. You guys, finally, we have the latest and greatest bylaws and constitution that has been sent out well in advance, so we can get it approved finally. Now, please note, technically, I have to get the constitution approved by the members of the club, the majority that are going to be notified for a special meeting. But the bylaws will be approved hopefully today by our board. So did everybody have a chance to take a look? I think Tammy sent them out like a month ago, so we had plenty of time. And then
there have been no additional changes since they were distributed last month.
Yes.
I know.
I read
God
every
God bless
word.
Bob Blackford. He's such a perfectionist, and we had so many just ongoing changes. Oh gosh. So
I
we're
read-
we're
I
not
read-
going to blink.
I read every word in there and I couldn't find a single flaw. Bob Blackburn he spearheaded that
Yeah, he
process.
did. He
Like,
did
he
an
did.
awesome job.
Tremendous job.
Yeah. So before he finds a change, we really need to have a motion to approve these things.
That's right.
Heidi, do we
I'll
need
move
a
to, I'll move
a
to
motion?
approve bylaws.
Do I have a second?
second?
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Yes, finally, before the end of the year. Yes, I'm so happy. Okay, so Richard, I bet you're gonna ask me about notifying the club on for the special meeting, probably in the first of the year, to get the Constitution approved.
do we need the Constitution approved by the,
Well,
by
Bob
the,
Blackford seems to think so, I believe.
okay,
And also, when you look at page 5 of the Constitution, it says amendments to this Constitution may be proposed by the board by submission of the proposed amendment writing to the members for their vote. Well, the members are the club members are also members of the foundation.
okay, that's right.
So I think we're going to have to do that and send that, within a reasonable time, and then make it just a small part of our meeting like we did before.
Well, do we have to take a vote on what we have now? And that vote says that we approve this and we're sending it to the club for approval.
I think that's a wise choice.
I
Yes.
agree. I agree.
I make that motion.
Second,
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Okay, we will get that done in the new year. So
Okay.
thank you, everybody. That's a weight off. I'm just so glad.
now that's only the Constitution, right? The bylaws
Yes.
are approved by the board of the foundation.
Yes,
Yes.
And the bylaws now are effective on the date of approval. So the effective date of the current bylaws is today.
Today.
December 15th.
Another thing I forgot to mention during my report, I wanted to say that we're making an announcement, correct, at the meeting about making sure everybody has their dues paid, correct?
Yes,
Tomorrow? Can you remind them to contribute to both the local and the international foundation and make the contributions? Consider those things when they pay their dues as well, because it's on the form.
I will be happy to do that.
Let's get some more Holbrooks. How about that? And I think
Absolutely.
once we get another set of them, once those come back, Tammy, I think we can put in a big order for some more.
We have three new ones so far and a couple of folks that are close.
Good. And so I'm sure there'll be more donations than when people get their bills back. So bills paid, I guess. Okay, so we have that done. Now, a big discussion that we have to have, kind of a philosophical discussion of what to do about the scholarships. As you know, we've given out 3 two-year scholarships to Valencia students, which is different than the accelerated skills. So that's just kind of another arm of Valencia we're supporting. Right now, we have no second year students coming in. So we need to think about, I believe we budgeted for 6. Is that correct, Richard?
Yes.
Okay. And so we need to be thinking about moving forward, how many we want to sponsor this year. I know Bill's anxious to talk to, Orange County and try to get students in line. So Richard, do you want to talk a little bit about your thoughts about the budget, where we are on that?
Yeah, let back up just so we're all on the same thought path. We started the 3-year the 2-year scholarship intending to direct it to students who were graduating from high school who weren't the top students, who would not be likely to get competitive scholarships, but who had demonstrated the ability to do college level work. Many of these students are late bloomers. They don't do well their first or second year in high school, but by the time they're a senior, they've shown promise and ability. Those kinds of students need help or they don't get it into college. And that was the original intent. Now, we didn't do the job we needed to do to go to the local high schools and get incoming students. We kind of went to Valencia and said, well, give us some students that you already know about. And we ended up with students that somewhat, but not very adequately met our criteria. Now, where we are this year, one student who began ended up with problems of anxiety and had to drop out. She will not be back. The other 2 students were already in Valencia and they're completing their tour. So we don't have any second-year students coming back next year. So despite our good intentions, we didn't choose students that met our own criteria. Now, in the bigger picture, those students are important, but also important are students who want to get advanced skills and get a job. I would suggest that we take as a policy decision 60% of our funds to the 3-year scholarships, and we continue to do 3, but 40% of our funds to the advanced skills and help support not only the students who are shooting for a 2-year degree, but students who just need advanced skills to get a job. There are so many vacancies in all kinds of vocational areas. And if we can agree on that, then we can determine how much money that we'll have. And this year I just arbitrarily took 30,000 as our number for the budget, because that was part of my early statement to you all that it's an aggressive budget, but not overly so. And I had a pretty good idea of what we could do with the poker tournament. So at this point, it really is how much of our total budget do we want to go to scholarships as opposed to other community needs, health needs, literacy needs, food needs. There are all kinds of other things besides scholarships. And as our budget grows, and we've moved now from being a club that looks to its members for donations for all the things it does, to a fundraising club. So I see our budget going forward as able to continue in the vein that we are now. But let's choose consistency. And part of that it derives from a policy decision that this is our priority and this is how we're going to do it. And that let me hear from other folks now, Heidi, but that's how I would propose things.
Does anybody?
I think it's a great, I think
Other thoughts?
I think that's an awesome idea to also do the new program So what I hear you saying was we'll continue to do 3 2-year scholarships and then take advantage of the new venture that Valencia is doing right now with getting people jobs right now. I think that's an excellent idea.
Yes, David?
Yeah, I'd even go further than that. I'd suggest right now we should really consider that skilled trades in this country are really lacking. And I was really excited about that Valencia program myself, because there is a real lack in skilled trades. The average tradesman right now is in his 50s, and we don't have adequate younger people going into the trades, because for years and years we've been encouraging college, and a lot of people graduating with college degrees are finding out that they are finding it hard to monetize. So I think we ought to really consider directing even more of our funds over to supporting those advanced learning programs that Valencia is offering, and maybe even cutting back on some of the scholarships we're offering in place of that.
I think the idea of working on this accelerated program not only is a great idea, I think we should get these people as part of our supporting them, is to have them come to our club so that everyone in the club can see who they are and see what we're doing with that money, and actually see and feel and get to touch these people to get an idea. I think it might help us stimulate, to David's point, more encouragement, more enthusiasm, and more support for what we're trying to do with Valencia. I think it's a great idea.
And I'm already working on that with Angela. And I'm also thinking about maybe when she allocates the funds, we could even stand up and spotlight a student that's receiving help each week, even if they don't come. Some students may not be comfortable speaking. You know, she's going to pick out the ones that are more comfortable to come to the meeting, but maybe we can spotlight how we're helping a student each week.
Yeah.
Something like that.
To follow up on David's suggestion, since we have no returning students to fund their second year, if we offered 3 scholarships, 3 2-year, that's 9,000 out of the 18 that we have in there. The other 9,000, we have no students earmarked for that. So we're left with the choice of, we could earmark that for a 1-year scholarship, or we can do advanced skills with that. So that's a choice for the board as to, do we go forward with, look for 3 1-year scholarships because we don't want to take on 6 2-year scholarships because in 1 year, because if we do that, we've made that commitment next year, and we may not have extra funds to add anybody new next year. At least that's my position, because I think continuity is the hallmark of every good program. Let's do what we can, but let's do what we can do continuously so that the word gets out, we continue on a year after year basis.
Well, under that scenario, I think maybe we ought to do 3 1-year scholarships so that we, first of all, can develop that connection with the high school people to find these students. Because I think that's the way it used to be, but I don't think it's has been done lately. I think we need to take a look at that, figure out how we can get more of our word out. So we'll offer a 1-year scholarship. Now, that doesn't mean that come next year that student might be awarded a 2nd year to go along with the theory of the 2. But I think we ought to maintain the amount of scholarships, because I think several of these scholarships have names on them of former members. Now, whether we're still carrying their name forward on those scholarships, I'm not sure of, but that's why. That would be what I would think would be the best way to handle this next. What to do about the fact we don't have any second-year students? Just set up 3 one-year students and see how they work out. They could then resubmit for the second year.
Bill, did you have something you wanted to say? You're muted.
Let me be clear, I'm chair of the grants committee. I'm not a member of the board, but I'd like to offer a couple thoughts. Larry, to your point about procedure, after we saw the problems of last year trying to find students, with Heidi's knowledge, I wrote a procedures memo on the whole scholarship selection process, including a timeline on when this process has to begin, which is now, who to go to at the school board, who is Kathleen Wright, who will disseminate it to all the high schools. So we have, you can't see it, but this is it. There's a whole procedure for the process, so we don't run into the same problem again. The two observations. One, I love the advanced skills program. All right, let me be clear that, and I'm proud of what the foundation did. But what percentage of our $10,000 is the total revenue available from Valencia for this program? Are we 1% or are we 20%? And the reason I raise that is, as some of you know, I was grants committee chair before, and I tried to advance the philosophy that we should put our money where it does the greatest good. For example, Boy Scouts came to us, and we love Boy Scouts. We just transferred $5,000 to them, but they came to us with a request for $2,000 to advance scouting in Paramore. Well, they've got a $5 million budget. What is our $2,000 going to do for them? Where could it be spent to the greater good? So my question regarding the advanced skills program is, will that be for the greater good? And as we look to these scholarships for basically the fall semester, it could be the summer semester, it's really going to come out of next year's budget. And we have another 2 fundraisers between now and the fall semester. So we could have a lot more money for a lot more something. And I'm just wondering whether we should step back and look at the total of it. I do not have a vote on this. Those are just some thoughts from your grants committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Walt?
And I don't think I hear that we want to abandon scholastics, but I think, part of this foundation has always been built on scholastics and scholarships. So I do like what Larry was saying about, maintaining as we go forward the scholastic part while we emphasize now the advanced skills. I mean, we can change agendas and priorities in successive years of this foundation. Right now the advanced skills work, subject to some of what Bill was saying, but I don't want to abandon scholastics ever as part of this foundation.
Any other thoughts? Yes, George?
I think that one of the criteria should be who can we help the most, and how can it be most beneficial to the majority of the inventory, let's put it that way, of these people, kids that need help. I think the fees or what have you, the tuition for is a different criteria as well. I don't remember what the tuition is for the accelerated program, but it's a lot less, I think, than the $3,000 per year for the regular program. So I think that should be one of the criteria. We've got communities here that need help. They need training, and we've got kids that drop out of high school that need a GED to accomplish their criteria or their objective. So I think, one of the things we need to look at is the population of who we're going to be dealing with here, because 1, 2, 3, 4 scholarships to Valencia for the educational program is good, but I think we can help more people with this accelerated program. So I throw that thought out.
Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm a real favor of the accelerated program, and some of those programs don't even go for a year, do they?
No, I mean, I'd like to correct some of the programs are more than the 3,000, but they're like, it depends on which accelerated skills. Some are, a 10-week program. Let's see, I have it here. For instance, like electrical power line technician is $10,000 for 15 weeks, but a distribution operations technician is $3,600 for 7 weeks. It kind of depends. I guess we're going to be mixing and matching the money to the students that need both. And maybe one student will need $100 and another one will need $400 extra, depending on the program and their needs, I guess. Just FYI, they're all different, but each one of them is more than $3,000.
Okay.
This is Woody. I like what Larry was saying for the allocation and keeping the scholarships to the 1 year, because that gives us the flexibility every year to determine how much we're going to put into the scholarships versus how much we're going to put into the accelerated learning.
Okay. Do we have any motion that anybody wants to make, or or do you want to discuss it some more? It's a lot. It is a lot.
Can we look at that memo that was mentioned about the process of picking the candidates?
You
Bill,
want to see the
Oh,
budget?
I'm sorry.
Again, or what?
no, the memo I have, it's an older one that's in the file. I'm sorry, did you update that, Bill? Since the one I have is what Tammy gave me when I started. I wasn't sure if it was the same one or not. They asked to see your procedures memo on choosing students.
I'm happy to send it to everybody if that's your desire. It was done.
I think it was done well
after-
before, like in the last, 3 years, maybe?
No, the one I'm talking about was done after it came to light that we had problems finding students last year. So it's like within the last 11 months.
Okay. Well, do we want to table this for the next meeting? Will we have time to still find students if we take a look at this and put our heads together again in January?
According to the procedures and timelines, if we get decisions in January, we're good.
Okay.
And
I mean, it's a big decision and I want to be wise about what we're doing. So if,
let me be clear, and again, I'm not a member of the board, so tell me when I overstep my bounds. This is a procedures memo on how to get the word out about scholarships. This is not a policy memo in any way, shape, or form. So I'm happy to send it. Please don't get me wrong. Happy to send it to everybody, but this does not set forth any policy at all, it just procedures. But I think it'd be good for the board to have, so that you know what the timeline is. Your wish is my command.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. We'll have Tammy send it out. Yeah, Walt?
I just think the accountant in me would really like to see a quantification of a couple of different options, maintain scholarships at a certain level with an emphasis on accelerated skills, or maybe, 2 or 3 different levels to, like the old Chinese restaurant menu, pick from this column or that column, and just something to give us an idea as to, cost and selection. Again, I like the emphasis with our new funds going to accelerated skills while maintaining a certain level, but other people may want different options. Just something to choose from, that rather than a random discussion.
I can put that together for next meeting.
And then I'll try to get from Angela then how she's allocating these funds, so we can have a better idea of where our $10,000 is how it's being spread out, so we can kind of get that in our heads and quantify that as well. Okay. So can I have a motion to table this until the next meeting?
Move to table.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Okay. We're gonna address this in January, and Dick, you and I can get together and kind of talk about some things once I get to talk with Angela. I wanted to pass along the man who spoke to us before, Dave Giordano, who was a guest at the meeting. At our board meeting. He had a heart attack on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
And he's very young, fit, and so they're really praying for him over there. But that's why you haven't heard his name come up, because he's still recovering from that. But so keep him in your prayers.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we're good. I think we're all good. Does anybody have anything they want to add? Yes, Bill?
Just reminder, when is the next board meeting in January? Just so I can do some planning with the school board.
Sure, it is. It is January 12th.
January 12th. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, my job is
Great.
to you guys
Do I-
decide,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Bill, sorry.
My job is to do what you guys decide. So just
Heidi, are
tell me
we
what to do.
meeting the second Wednesday or the third? Today is the third Wednesday.
I thought we were supposed to be, why is it on for the second Wednesday on my calendar? I do
Mine's on
not
the
know.
19th.
I should be
It
the
was because
19th.
it was
It's wrong on my calendar. I think initially when it was put on, it just hadn't been changed.
This month it went for the second week because of Christmas, but normally it's the third Wednesday.
Got it.
So-
Sorry,
so it's-
everybody. I'll make sure I'm
19th?
at the right meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is a rare month where the third Wednesday follows the second Tuesday, so we have back-to-back board meetings.
Okay, well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I have one more item for the good of the
Yes,
order.
Walt.
I have enjoyed your presentations in front of the club and wondered if on an ongoing basis, I suppose the board or Rich has to consider this, whether at least one weekend a month would be one meeting a month, we would at least have a foundation presentation or update. I've enjoyed that.
Oh, nice.
I think it's a great idea, Walt. Yeah. After we get the Holbrook Awards done and got all of those presented, I do want to keep this front and center to the club, because it's really important for the club to know our local foundation, what we're doing, as opposed to it being forgotten. So, 1 week a month is fine. I would like, though, to every week to have something we talk about from the local foundation, just to give everybody an update. So it's a good idea.
Be great.
Now,
And
do you
that
mean,
re-
Walt, just somebody mentioning it, or do you like mention what we're doing, or do you mean a program?
No, I just mentioned, just
Oh, okay, sure.
a minute or two in front of the club. Here's what the foundation's done, and or it could be the happy dollar when we do happy dollars for the foundation. Maybe it can go in line with that.
It's a good idea.
And that's all part and parcel of changing the club from a member-funded organization to a fundraising organization and channeling those funds through the foundation. That helps in fundraising, and it also helps put the money in a combined pot where we can think about being the most effective application we can apply.
If you don't have objections to it too, I put myself in Heidi's shoes. A lot of times she can't make the meeting because she's got something that's going on. It would be good if one of you who are board members would be willing to step in on her behalf and still give the update of something that's going on. You'd have to work that out with Heidi, but that would be a big help. So we would know, we would always be talking about the foundation of something that's interesting that every Thursday too. So throw that out.
If there's a couple backups for me, then if I have a hearing or something that I can't attend Rotary for some reason, maybe I can reach out to a couple people who are willing to do that. Walt, do I see you volunteer?
You can put me on the list.
I'll put you on the list. Who else wants to be on the list?
I think
Backup.
George is there.
Yeah, you can put me on there.
Okay, got it. Anybody else?
Heidi,
Yeah,
if I can build on to what Walt just said, one of the
Sure.
things that might be very visible and very productive is for the foundation to acknowledge and give some kind of recognition to those committee members that have helped raise money for the foundation, as in the gang of four for the poker tournament, or Brit for the golf tournaments, etc., as a way of one, acknowledging and thanking them for their efforts, and two, putting visibility of the foundation in front of the membership.
Yeah, to that point, you should all know, we told the Rotary Board yesterday, but I'll tell you today, tomorrow we are going to recognize the 4 people that were involved in the poker tournament, and they are going to all receive the Rotarian of the Month award tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
good idea.
yes, sorry. Did you have anything to say? Dick? No, okay, I thought you were gonna talk. Okay. Now do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor to adjourn and to have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Adjourned. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you.